Hey everyone, it's Ashley Jones, Event Director at Marketing Showcase. Thanks for watching one of our recordings from Marketing Showcase Online. I really hope you enjoy it, and hopefully I'll see you at another one soon.
Okay, hopefully everyone can see my screen now. Cool, okay, so as Ashley said, my name is Daniel Bianchini, and I'm the co-founder of Common Ground. We're a digital marketing agency based in Oxford, who are now working remotely. We formed Common Ground with one goal: to empower brands of any size to grow their business online through the power of search. And in this talk, what I want to do is talk you through how we built a brand new website and took it from 0 to 80,000 monthly organic visitors in just 18 months using content alone. And as a surprise in this, we also had this valued, and the website is now worth 220,000 US dollars. So the three things and the three areas that I want to talk to you about today are: why did we create the site? How did we do it? And also what the results were, because I'm keen to give you all of the information that we had on the project. So firstly, the objective for this was to build a new website to show potential clients the power of the content creation process for SEO. Now, we get asked this question all the time: why are you creating content? What type of content are you creating? And what's the reason and the power behind it? But we couldn't show them the insides of a client. We could show them the results, the percentage increases and everything like that, but we couldn't show them the exact things that we were doing. So we decided to build one so we can show. The second one was we wanted a secondary revenue stream. As any business, we are service-led. So with things like the pandemic, things change. So we created a second revenue stream for our business. And ultimately, I like to keep my hands dirty. If I'm not working in SEO day to day, I want to be able to keep my hands dirty, keep my finger on the pulse of the industry, and making sure that we're doing the right things for the right people. So then I want to go into the how. So at Common Ground, we have built a framework over the time of how we deliver SEO for all of our clients to prove consistent results. So we have a discover phase where we talk about what's the landscape, get to know the website, the client. Then we go into the improve phase where we are auditing the current assets and improving current assets, looking at keywords that they're currently ranking for, and making sure that's as good as it possibly can be. We then move into a build phase where we look at keyword gap analysis, what new content can we be creating, whether that's the written content, whether that's video, whether that's graphical, lots of different things that we can really push forward the website. We have a promotion phase, which looks at link acquisition, social media promotion, email promotion, paid ads, all of that type of different marketing channels where we can really promote the website and show how good the brand is to Google. And then finally, we evaluate and we constantly learn from everything that we're doing. And this is a repetitive process. So we're then improving the things that we build, we're building new things, improving, et cetera, et cetera. So that, in a nutshell, is our overall SEO framework. However, with this project, we were building a new website from scratch. So we couldn't improve anything because there was nothing there to improve. So we focused predominantly and solely on the build phase. Now, in this build phase, there were 4 areas of our content creation framework, and we're going to focus all of our attention today on gap analysis. So the first phase is identify target keywords that match our criteria. We're going to understand the type of content and create content topics around these keywords. We're then going to create briefs and then have content produced and then published on the website. Now, as a business, we don't have copywriters internally. We believe in getting the right people, specialists in their industry and in their sector, to write content. So we have a pool of freelancers that we write for our website on a regular basis, but we also have freelancers that support us with helping our clients. So whether they're in the tech industry, whether they're in the science, whether they're in travel, whether they're in fitness, whatever it may be, we have a pool of websites that we go out to. And then finally, because we're not doing external link building to this website, we use internal links, which is essential to ensure that search engines can get from one page to another and be able to provide context. We use a tool called twilu.com to help us support our internal linking, where what we're doing here is effectively saying, this link is relevant to this page, make sure that we're linking to it, and then a search engine can come around and really get to the right pages. So I want to give you some context before I jump in next, let's have a few slides into actually the tools around the website. So the aim of the website, as I said earlier, was for secondary income. So we generated affiliate income and we wanted to generate media ads. So what that means is when someone comes onto the website, if they saw an informational post, they will be shown ads, and every time they share an ad, we will be getting a few pennies per view. The other way of monetizing it is affiliate marketing, where if someone purchased a product through our website, whether it was on Amazon or Homebase or wherever it may be, then we would earn a small percentage of that revenue, but there'd be no extra cost to the user. Now, one thing that I was really conscious of when building this website as a test bed was I didn't want clients or potential clients to come and say, well, that's a really easy niche. So I decided to go for 3 of the most competitive niches that you can see. And that was home and garden, sport and fitness, and then health and beauty. What we did is once we decided on that, we went and found a domain. We bought the domain, so there's no marketing on this previously. There's no history to this domain. It's brand new. We put a free WordPress theme on it, and then we just started our content creation process. And I'm about to go into that right now. Now, one thing I want to make you aware of is I do not reveal the URL for this particular website. And the reason behind that is because it's still revenue generating. And whilst I'm prepared and happy to show the knowledge and the information that we do to get into this so that you can use it on your own clients or your own businesses, I wasn't prepared to give that URL away and potentially affect the revenue. So let's jump in. So I'm just going to change my screen here. Okay. So the first thing that we do is we head over to Ahrefs. And this tool is one that has all the links and keywords and all that sort of information. And the first thing that we do, and what you guys would already know here, is you've identified your top 5 competitors. Okay. Now, once we did our research, we knew that our top 5 competitors involved Top Fitness Mag. So what I did is I head over to Site Explorer, type in my Top Fitness Mag, and then look at their settings. Okay, so what you see as this comes up here is that Top Fitness Mag does very well. They do 58,000 keywords. They've got lots of referring domains, lots of backlinks. So this domain is doing extremely well from an organic search perspective. Now, if I look at here, what you can see is a lot of this is US based, so 46,000. And because our website is being marketed in the UK, we need to change this here to the UK. Okay. Now, even so, there's still 2,500 keywords that they're ranking for. So I'm quite keen to go and see what those keywords are. So I head over to organic keywords. And then we can start to see. Now, if any of your competitors have 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 keywords that you're not going to want to download, you may want to do some filtering at this stage. My recommendation is you just filter by keyword difficulty, okay, from and to. So I would say that you want to get anything up to about 75 here. If you're doing it at 10,000, there may also be a case of you want to look at those in positions 0 through to 30, and then we can do some sort of filtering in the next phase. So what I tend to do here, there's only 2,500 keywords. I would export this list and then take it into my spreadsheet. And I will import it into one of these 5 tabs. Okay, so I generally just go in here. I use a Mac, so hit File, Import, and in Import, there's an upload feature. Just drag in your CSV and append it to this spreadsheet, and then all your information will be stored here. Now, the next step will be to repeat this 4 or 5 times. So I did this for Top Fitness Mag, Fitness Guides, Fit Rated, Home Gym Experts, and JT Fitness. Now, once you've got all of this information into these spreadsheets, what you then need to do is grab all of the keywords and dump them in column C. So you can see here that I've got 4,500 keywords that I now need to go through. Also, the next steps here is to come over to here where this will automatically fill in the particular competitors, so Fitness Guides, Fit Rated, Home Gym, JTX, and Top Fitness Mags. And I then go through and start to copy out each of these rankings into the right place so that we can start to see a comparison across the 4 or 5 competitors versus what would normally be your site. So your site would normally be here. And then we can start to see, based on algorithms that we have set up, the number of competitors are ranking, what's the best competitor and what they're ranking for, who's ranking in the best position. So if there's 3 or 4 people ranking, then are they positioned 15, 20, 25? You get the keyword difficulty score, which has come from Ahrefs. Now, for those that are not aware, keyword difficulty score is just based on some mathematics based on Ahrefs' own internal scoring system, and it's from 0 to 100. The higher you go, the more harder it is. Now, this just gives you an indicator. This is not something to hang your hat on, but it gives you an indication of where the most difficult terms are going to be. Then secondly, here you've got the monthly search volume. Now this is again from Ahrefs, which ordinarily comes from Google and Google Ads. This is a monthly search volume for each of these terms. Now, on average, this term will be searched for roughly about 800 times, according to Google. Now, if you're aware of SEO and use Google Search Console, you will probably see that some of these terms and their monthly search volumes are wildly out. So I know, as an example, best spin apps is 120 search volume, okay? But I know in Google Search Console, because I can see the data now, that gets thousands of searches per month. So the way that we need to really dwell on and dive these down is to go, are these the right terms for us? Are they the right type of users and the type of content that we want to create? So the next phase is, once you've got all this information here, is to start weeding out some of these terms, okay? Because we've got 4,500, we're not going to be making content for 4,500 different terms, it's just not feasible. So we need to go through this list and really say, okay, are these the target terms I want to go after? Are they the terms that I think I can rank for right now, or are they terms that I can rank for in the future? There's a couple of ways that I do this, and the first way and the quickest way to do this is just to go to keyword difficulty score, use the filter by condition, go down to greater than, and I use 65 as my limit, okay? And then hit OK, and that filters. So what we see here is we've got a handful of terms that are quite competitive, search volume is not great, and just means that I need to filter these out, okay? So we are, as I said, like an affiliate site, so we're going to be writing content around buyer's guides, informational posts, how-tos, etc. So things such as Fitbit specs, fitness.com, fitness shop, all of these things, they're not going to be any good to me. So what I'm going to do is start to delete those. Heart rate fitness, Peloton, that type of stuff, again, is not really going to work for me. So I'm going to start to delete those as well. Protein for muscle growth, protein to build muscle, something that I can write about a bit later, but all of these other ones I'm going to start to delete. Okay, then I delete this. So let's clear my filters, go back to the normal one. So the next thing I want to see is start looking at each of these keywords and each of the keywords individually. So if we just take this one, I want to see what type of content is ranking for 10 kg dumbbell. So I go into Google, I do a search, and what I can see is Amazon got ads at the top. So Argos retail, Amazon retail, eBay retail, Decathlon retail, Gorilla Sports retail. So what I can see here very quickly is the intent from the user is actually, if you're typing in 10 kg dumbbell, you're looking for a retail shop. And that's what Google's responding to. So the site that I'm trying to create is not really going to be the right place for this to do. So I start to look down the list and say, okay, what I'm going to do is all of those ones, they've all got e-commerce intent and it's not quite right for my website. I will remove and delete the selected rows. Now the next one is 12-week half marathon plan. Now this is something I really think we can create content around. So I'm going to again copy that, put it into Google and see what we have. Okay, so runner's world, informational content. Okay, that's great. More informational content, more informational content. So this is something that I feel that we definitely can work on. So that's something that we will keep within our research. You've got marathon training, so all of these we are going to retain. More keywords here very quickly that are e-commerce intent. So we're going to remove those. Also with kettlebells, we're going to remove those as well. So what we start to see is all of this type of content is informational. Okay, so we can start to write content around these, whether they are how to run a half marathon, how to get fit for a half marathon, what are the steps to take to prepare for a half marathon, all these different type of things that we can do really quickly. So once you've started to build that out, the next thing for us to do is start to use a pillar and cluster. Now, the pillar, or hub and spoke model, depending on what terms you use, is the key core piece of content. Okay, so in this case, a pillar around the marathon stage is going to be running. And then from running, we're going to have the 12-week marathon plan. We're going to have 5K marathon running plans. We're going to have 10K plans. All of these clusters will then link back into the main page around running. And then this really gives our authority to Google for the website. And then we start to really build that out. So the way that I would do this is type running in here. And then I'm just going to roll that down here. And then in here, I'm going to bring this as marathon and then move this down. This one's a cross trainer, 15 minutes on cross trainer. So we can definitely come up with some information around that. I will type that in, it's cross trainer. So workouts, again, cross trainer. Let's just drag this one down before we get to exercise bikes, etc. Okay, and then in here, because of this, we've got 2-in-1 cross trainer. What I'm going to do is the cluster, I'm going to call that a 2-in-1. Okay, and I'm going to copy that down. And the exercise bikes is the same. And then what I'm going to do is do all of this for all of these terms. So the idea is at the end of it, you have something like this. And this is my art attack moment, where we have our pillars, we have our clusters, everything in here. We filtered everything down. So what you can start to see is that I now have a set of keywords that I want to target from my content production piece. So the next step, once you've got your keywords, you've done your research, you go, right, these are terms that I'm going to start to create, is to build out your content workbook. Now, over here, you'll see that this is my content workbook, and it's filtered purely by the fitness tab. And what you'll see is it's a fairly straightforward thing. You have your writer, so you have the author in piece. You have a completion date when it was published. You have your status, so you can start to see where it is in terms of the publication, whether you've assigned it, whether it's to be started. You have the content type. We have multiple content types here. So buyer's guides, for example, is where you sort of review content, you review products, image ideas. You may be doing the 10 best home gyms, and you've got stuff, images, listicles, like 7 steps to do X, those type of things. Lots of different types of content that we can produce. You've got the main keyword, the target, the keyword difficulty that we bring in from Ahrefs so that we've got an idea, the estimated potential traffic, and then the secondary keywords. So what you can see here is I've got lots of content that we've created, published, to be started, and this is just for the fitness section of this website. So what I go is go back to my list, and I've got the 12-week marathon training. So I take the keywords and I start by putting them into my secondary keyword thing. So here, then I start to fill out the information. So it's the fitness pillar. My freelancers, they will have access to the keyword research as well, so they know what cluster it is. So I just put that in. The traffic potential. So what we need to see is what of these terms had the most traffic potential and what was their keyword research. So what you can see here is this one here. The 12-week marathon training plan has monthly search volume of 400 and the keyword difficulty of 23. So the volume is the most out of all of them. So that would be definitely my target. And 23 is not too bad in terms of keyword difficulty. So that would be where we start to plan our. So the main keyword would be here. And then I took the potential here, keyword difficulty 23. I will always put it to start, and I want this to be an informational piece to go into detail on what are the steps around 12-week half marathon planning, what's the training needs to be involved, so very in-depth information. And then I will assign this to Megan. She is one of our writers, and I'm going to change that to assigned. So the next stage for us is to start writing the content brief based on the information that we have. Now, what I'm going to do is show you just an example of one that we did for the best spinning apps. It's a buyer's guide versus informational post, but it follows through the same process that you can then use for your own content creation. So if I just open up here, okay, and what you'll see here is this is the outline of our content creation brief. We provide them with the keyword. We give them an idea of the keywords, of the number of words that we want them. Now, this is just an indication, and we use Surfer SEO to provide us with an estimate. But the idea here is that the copywriter has full reign to write the number of words that they feel is relevant to this piece of content. We don't want it to be just like fluffy. We don't want it to be just stuff with tons of stuff that we want to be informative, we want to be educational, and we want to get to the point. We want to show that we're an authority within this space. And that's why we go to specialists with our freelance team. We show them the website, so they can click on the website. We show them the voice that we want them to write in, the type of content that it's going to be. We would provide them with the page title. This is obviously specifically important from an SEO perspective. Year would obviously be the year that the page is written. We would normally provide them with a meta description. We would tell them exactly where it's going to be on the website. And we'd also include the secondary keywords that we would want them to weave in throughout the content, but in no particular order. We just want to make sure that these things are considered when they are writing the content. We also tell them exactly what type of internal link opportunities that we want. So when we're on this page and we're having them write this, we know that we want them to link out to 2 or 3 different pieces of content within our website. And if there is external link opportunities to supporting content that backs up an argument, a statistic that's being used, then we do want them to link out to that as well. We want to see this website as the best possible resource in Google's eyes. So in this case, we've identified it that we want to have best indoor exercises bikes as the internal link because it's the pillar of this particular cluster around indoor exercise bikes. We also want them to link out to HIIT workouts on an exercise bike. It's a recent piece of content that we've created and something that we believe is going to be very valuable. We want them to link out to the home gym equipment website and the working out at home piece. So these 4 are exactly the type of internal links that we would like our content writers to then link out to. As they're writing, they can start to think about how they would link out. It doesn't have to be specific terms or anything along those lines. It just has to make sense. Once the page has been published, we will then use Twilio to identify any link opportunities that we can link into the page with and how we can link potentially out to other pages that we maybe haven't stipulated during this process. And then finally, before we go into the outline, we provide them with some competitors. Now, this is very simple in terms of just going into Google, going to best spinning apps, the keyword that we're trying to target here, and just looking at the ones that we have. So you can see that we've got Cycling Weekly, whatandgood.com, Men's Journal, Ask Men, and I would tend to take the top 2 to 4 URLs and just drop it here in the content brief. I'd also ask them if they feel that they need some additional resources to go and do that research to enable them to then obviously move forward. And then it's the outline. Finally, we come down and we start to put together an outline of what we expect to happen within this post. So here's the page title that we want them to use. We give them some advice on what we expect in the first couple of paragraphs. So we want to capture people's attention, introduce the topic, introduce why using spinning apps can be a benefit, all of that type of thing, just really to grab the attention of the user. We used table of contents, and we do that on lots of our blog type content because it can be picked up by Google in the featured snippets. And at the top where you type in, sometimes it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So it's just a good practice for us using the WordPress site. We then go away and ask them to research and review 5 to 10 different applications. In this case, they have a budget, so they can go away and spend money because we want them to see both the free versions and the paid versions, and then provide pros, cons, what we liked, what we don't like, what features did have, what they're useful, what they're not useful. And also to provide some sort of cost range. Now, we don't want exact costs because things change, but if we can give a high, medium, low range, that gives the user some really good information. I also want them to provide like videos where possible, imagery where possible, whether that's taking images of our own application when we're reviewing it, screen record it, or whether we're using brand and manufacturer videos, really to give the user as much information as they possibly can around this type of content. And we do the same, so we go through that. Then at the bottom is where we have some related posts, and we can start linking through to different pieces, as I already mentioned. And finally, at the bottom is we tend to have some like educational piece content. So why should you be using best spinning apps? What are the best spinning apps? What sort of devices can you use spinning apps on? And we'd say to our users to go, use Ubersuggest or use Answer the Public to dive further into those questions. Also use Google. As you may have seen when you was here, you've got people also asked. So there's plenty of things that you can do. So is there an app for spinning? And as you start to click down, you can really see like what is the best. Can you do spinning at home? And we may write some content around can you do spinning at home? And then from that answer, we can link back into workouts at home or home gyms and things like that. So you can see how this content really intertwines and comes back together. So once you've created the brief, you drop in the brief here. So we can just copy and paste this into here, give an indication of the number of words. And what I've tended to do, especially for this particular website, I think it's valuable for all websites, is I've created a video on how to then take this content and upload it into WordPress in a way that I think is nice and relevant. It just takes off that whole formatting issue that you then have to do because you're going to get the content and format. And that's it. So that's our process. You then go back to your keyword research, you take off your next set of keywords here, you take those, you put them back into your workbook, and you just build this out. And I tend to build out like 10s, 20, 30 briefs at a time. As you can see here, we've already got 900 rows. So I've got 900 pieces of content we've either created or in the process of creating. It just means that our writers can constantly go through production and increase it as and when we need. So if I just go back to the presentation now, this is what we received in 18 months. So we've gone from 0 to 396 total visits in 18 months. Okay, you can see over the first 6 months, it was very slow. We expected this. We did 18 pieces of content, conducted some real small local citations purely just to get search engines to see the website. The middle 6 months, we started to ramp up content a little bit. We went from circa about 2 a month to 10 a month based on the process. And you can really start to see the increase here. And in the last 6 months, we're publishing up to 12 pieces a week. Plus, we're improving our content that we'd previously written, as well as building upon that, constantly adding in internal links, constantly using Twilio to identify opportunities. And then that's really what we saw and saw the growth. Now, one thing that we're really keen to stress is it's not just about traffic, it's about actually what's the return on investment. Now, this is what we saw over 2020. What we saw was we had £48,000 worth of revenue combined from Amazon and publisher content. That came from 36 million impressions of our search terms, around 380,000 visits. And as I mentioned, we had our website valued around September time here, which came in at $217,522,000. But the key thing, again, another thing is this is repeatable, okay? This is something that we wanted to show for our own website, but show that it can be done for others, and the process works, and it can work across any sector where it's applied correctly. For this sector we've been working, we've seen 143% increase in organic traffic from across the year. And when we start to really ramp up the content in July 2020, you can really see the increase here in terms of the traffic that we're receiving. And it's also seen an increase in organic inquiries. So 51% organic inquiries. Again, you can see the ramping up increase as we start to do the content. It's really, really important that for us, it's not just about traffic, but it's about what matters. That's sales, that's leads, that's revenue, that's earning more money. And that's what every business wants to achieve. Again, here's another one, 109% growth in 12 months. And another one, 36% year-on-year growth increase. So what I hope that you're going to take from this is that it can be done through content. It's repeatable. And I'm hoping by these steps that I've shown you through will allow you to go and try it yourself. If it's not, then obviously get in touch and we'll be happy to help you achieve your business goals. Thanks for listening.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching another recording from Marketing Showcase Online. I hope you enjoyed it. Just to let you know, we've got all of the recordings uploaded to our brand new YouTube channel, so go over there and check it out if you want some more great content. We run these events once every month, free of charge, so head over to our website to grab tickets for next month's event. I look forward to seeing you there.